Unexpected incident at the airport. Jimin and Jungkook fly together. What really happened? In a moment that sent shockwaves across international fandoms, two of the world's most closely watched artists, BTS members Jimin and Jungkook, were spotted at Incheon International Airport under circumstances too specific to ignore. The timing, the silence, the matching luggage, none of it felt accidental. Was it a coincidence, or is something far more calculated unfolding behind closed doors? The spark ignited when Jimin, typically elusive and private, was seen arriving at Incheon, moving quietly through the terminal. But it wasn't his presence alone that captured global attention. It was the suitcase. A specific, uniquely worn model that fans immediately recognized. Days earlier, Jungkook had carried a near-identical one through the same airport, en route to the United States. And with no scheduled appearance for Jimin publicly confirmed, fans instantly began asking, was he following Jungkook? The incident was not a mere visual coincidence. Observers pointed out not just the luggage, but the sticker placement, zipper patterns, and even the grip Jimin used while pulling it. Everything mirrored Jungkook's previous appearance. Fans familiar with the duo's subtle habits began drawing connections between their travel, fashion coordination, and the distinct pattern of public silence that precedes major BTS surprises. Within hours, theories exploded online, gaining momentum with each shared frame. Videos slowed down to fractions of a second examined every movement Jimin made, his unusually calm expression, the choice of cap, the minimal escort, the absence of stylists, all suggesting something out of the ordinary. The question intensified. Was this a personal visit, a support mission, or the beginning of a clandestine project? The parallels were too stark. Jungkook had reportedly flown to Los Angeles just days prior. While his destination was never officially confirmed, fan-sourced airport sightings and unverified flight logs aligned with previous schedules for BTS-related recording and production work. Now, with Jimin moving in silence, suspicion turned into near certainty. The idea of a joint creative effort wasn't new, but this time, the evidence felt unprecedentedly tangible. More telling than their synchronized travel was the environment surrounding them. HYBE, the label behind BTS, remained notably silent. No itineraries were published. No press releases issued. No social media posts hinted at activity from either artist. For two high-profile figures to travel internationally under such a veil raised not only curiosity, but legitimate suspicion of deliberate secrecy. Some fans believe the duo is working on a hidden project, perhaps tied to Jimin's Muse era or Jungkook's unreleased material, known to have been in the works since late 2023. Others propose a more ambitious theory, a surprise live performance or special broadcast intended for global streaming. If true, it would not be the first time BTS members have laid low before executing a flawlessly orchestrated reveal. But this time, the emotion behind it feels different. While initial speculation focused on the matching suitcases, it was a single, nearly invisible sticker on Jimin's luggage that took the internet by storm. Faint but familiar, it resembled the custom decals Jungkook sported during a 2023 New York shoot. Within minutes, comparison photos were posted. Overlaid images showed that not only were the suitcases identical, they carried the same wear patterns, the same scuffs, the same left side ziplock. The message, fans argue, is not just visual. It's intentional. Veteran followers know the rhythm of BTS surprises. They've seen the blueprint before. Silence followed by explosion, inactivity followed by impact. But even they admit, this moment feels charged with something deeper. Since their heartfelt and vulnerable travel reality content in Are You Sure?, Jimin and Jungkook's bond has only intensified in public consciousness. That series, though lighthearted on the surface, was packed with subtext. Long conversations by the campfire, looks exchanged without words, and moments of quiet reflection that hinted at more than just friendship. Now, with no public schedules, no leaks, and no denials, the fandom finds itself trapped in a paradox. Hypervisible silence. The louder the absence of information, the more potent its message becomes. Several sources, fan-run forums, and independent trackers have pointed to increased security protocols at specific studios in Los Angeles known to house HYB-affiliated projects. Suspicious gaps in studio bookings, quiet shutdowns of social media from local staff, and coincidental disappearances of stylists known to work with both artists have further fed the theory that something major is in development. Even more intriguing is the insider speculation that began circulating weeks ago that Jimin and Jungkook had been holding private sessions with international directors in Seoul, prepping something never before seen. Whispers from production networks hint at a visual piece, possibly a short film or performance art concept, designed not for television but for streaming. Netflix and Apple have both been mentioned in speculative threads, though nothing has been verified. Fans in Los Angeles and New York have since taken the investigation into their own hands. Dozens of unconfirmed sightings have surfaced. Jimin in a black hoodie in Soho, Jungkook's manager entering a Santa Monica recording studio, a black van with tinted windows arriving at a rented compound previously used for V's solo shoot. Though unverifiable, the frequency and consistency of these sightings have only escalated the fervor. Still, Jimin has remained silent. Not a single social media post. No cryptic story.
No teaser.
This strategic void, fans argue, is the final piece of evidence that a major revelation is imminent. The emotional dimension cannot be ignored. Some believe Jimin's journey is also a personal gesture of support for Jungkook, especially in light of recent emotional strains within the group and growing public pressure on each member during the military hiatus. The notion that this journey might blend art with personal support has made the story resonate even deeper. And when it comes to BTS, personal and professional boundaries are often beautifully blurred. Others, more skeptical, argue this may simply be a well-calculated publicity stunt. But the veterans of the fandom push back hard. They know the difference between hype and history. This, they insist, feels like the latter. The atmosphere, they claim, mirrors the quiet before Spring Day, the build-up before Black Swan, the shrouded secrecy of Proof. And in each case, the silence was louder than the announcement. So what happens now? A suitcase, a quiet airport walk, a matching sticker. These aren't just details. They're signals. And with every moment of quiet from both idols, anticipation builds. They are not just preparing for another release. This feels like something else. A message. A moment. Perhaps even the start of a new era. Fans are refreshing timelines every few minutes. Influencers are dissecting flight data. Private investigators are watching booking sheets for closed-door performance halls. Something is coming, and if the past is any indicator, Jimin and Jungkook don't move unless there's a reason, whether it's a performance, a cinematic short, a new subunit debut, or an artistic farewell before enlistment. One thing is clear, this is not a routine trip. The question is no longer if they're working together. It's what they're working on and when the world will see it, because when Jimin and Jungkook move in silence, they're not hiding, they're preparing, and the world should be watching. Follow-up analysis. Jimin and Jungkook's airport incident. Fact or strategic fiction? The ripple effect from Jimin and Jungkook's joint airport appearance has not subsided. Instead, it has escalated into a full-scale discourse, dissected in real time across platforms ranging from Twitter to TikTok, YouTube reaction channels, and international fan forums. But as speculation snowballs into presumed certainty, one crucial question remains largely ignored. Are we witnessing the formation of a genuine, secretive creative project? Or are we being pulled into an elaborate performance designed to captivate, provoke, and manipulate mass attention? This moment, regardless of its final explanation, has demonstrated how little it takes to fracture the boundary between fact and narrative. A sticker, a bag, a look. These elements, when circulated without confirmed context, are elevated to symbols. But are they truly symbols of something real? Or are we, the audience, complicit in constructing meaning where none exists? Have we confused coincidence with conspiracy? Consider the anatomy of the incident. A man, known globally but silent by choice, walks through Incheon Airport with a suitcase. That image, harmless, even mundane, explodes into international speculation because it resembles another artist's earlier appearance. But in this process, where is the line drawn between evidence and projection, between data and desire? If the appearance of similar luggage can be taken as confirmation of a secret duo collaboration, then what role does critical thinking play in the consumption of celebrity narratives? Are fans merely decoding clues, or are they generating illusions fueled by emotional investment? This is not a dismissal of passion. It is a necessary interrogation of perception. The public has grown increasingly adept at decoding the subtextual language of celebrity, particularly within the K-pop industry. Silent departures, hidden stickers, timed social media absences. Each element is a brick in a house of speculative interpretation. But we must ask, who is building that house? Are these clues left intentionally by the artists? Or are they the byproduct of a system that rewards ambiguity, emotional baiting, and audience engagement metrics? Furthermore, if Jimin and Jungkook are indeed involved in a covert project, why has the structure of this reveal followed such a chaotic and unconfirmed trajectory? In the past, BTS projects, no matter how surprising, have relied on calculated rollouts. Teasers, breadcrumbs, curated hints. Now, however, we are left to piece together unofficial sightings, grainy photos, and unverifiable claims from sources with little to no accountability. Is this evolution or deterioration of communication between artists and fans? The seriousness of this inquiry lies in the implications. If true, the collaboration represents a rare artistic convergence, perhaps the launch of a subunit, a visual narrative, or a surprise stage. But if false, we are witnessing the birth of a mass hallucination, shaped not by deceit, but by collective emotional projection. In both scenarios, the consequences are profound. This brings us to the platforms themselves. Social media is not a neutral observer. It does not simply reflect reality. It shapes it, distorts it, accelerates it. A fan's speculative thread on X, a 15-second video on TikTok, or an unverified sighting from a niche YouTube channel now holds more narrative power than traditional press. This democratization of news creation is both liberating and dangerous. With no verification mechanisms, fiction can masquerade as truth, and suggestion becomes interpretation. Are you, the reader, prepared to accept that possibility? That what you believe might not only be uncertain, it might be entirely manufactured. What if the entire event is a simulation of intimacy between idols and audience, engineered to sustain engagement and heighten parasocial tension? We do not claim to possess the ultimate truth about Jimin and Jungkook's recent movements. The purpose of this article is not to declare certainty. It is to emphasize uncertainty. The fragments we have, visual similarities, overlapping timelines, fan theories, are insufficient to substantiate a conclusion. They are at best provocations, and that provocation demands introspection. Why are we so eager to believe? Why do we fill in the blanks so quickly, so confidently? Is it because we trust the artist? Because we distrust the label? Or because, in an age of emotional fatigue and digital overstimulation, the idea of two beloved figures secretly working together gives us something to believe in, a narrative to hold on to, a reason to refresh the feed? Let us be clear, emotional investment must not replace analytical judgment. Passion is not a substitute for proof, and viral engagement is not a guarantee of authenticity. Therefore, we urge readers and the wider public to engage critically with this event. Reflect on your own reactions. Question the validity of each source. Consider the broader mechanisms at play. Ask yourself, do I believe this because it is true, or because I want it to be true? Am I responding to evidence or to emotion? Is this event about art, or is it about influence? This is not an attack on fandom. It is a call for collective maturity. The responsibility of the modern audience is not only to support, but to scrutinize. Not only to consume, but to question as of now. No formal confirmation has been released regarding the alleged collaboration. The artists remain silent. The agency, non-committal. All visual data remain circumstantial. All theories remain just that, theories. Meanwhile, online speculation continues to metastasize. But what is the cost of believing too fast, too blindly? In closing, we reiterate, the content currently circulating, from TikTok shorts to Twitter threads, from edited YouTube montages to secondhand witness accounts, may contain partial truths, deliberate misinterpretations, or complete fabrications. We encourage all readers to remain vigilant, skeptical, and discerning. The truth is not always found in the loudest voices, the most viral post, or the most cinematic speculation. Sometimes, truth requires silence, distance, and discipline. Until verifiable information emerges, we must all resist the temptation to declare conclusions in a vacuum of confirmation. Now we leave you with the question that underlies this entire event. Are you witnessing reality? Or are you watching a narrative you helped create? Choose your belief carefully. And above all, keep questioning. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of this entire situation isn't the possibility of a hidden project. It's the mirror it holds up to us. What we're seeing is not just two artists in transit, but a fandom's hunger for connection in the absence of clarity. The silence from Jimin and Jungkook becomes a canvas, and the audience becomes the painter. Each assumption, each theory, another stroke in a masterpiece of uncertainty. And the deeper question arises, is this silence intentional because something is indeed coming, or because there's nothing at all, and the mystique serves as a distraction, a myth to soothe the ache of a group on hiatus? BTS has always operated on dual timelines, one visible, one invisible. Their official comebacks, concerts, and releases run parallel to their personal stories, hidden behind layers of coded messages, emotional performances, and subtle signals. For fans, deciphering these layers has become second nature. But now, with military enlistments fragmenting the group's presence, that decoding instinct has intensified. Every move is overanalyzed, every shadow interpreted, every silence heard as loudly as a scream. Still, this moment feels different. It's not just speculation for speculation's sake. It's about longing for a return, for something meaningful, for confirmation that the bond between members and between artist and fan is as strong as ever, even when unspoken. That's why the matching suitcase matters. That's why a quiet walk through an airport sends shockwaves. It's not because fans are gullible, it's because they're tuned in, deeply, emotionally, fearlessly. Whether Jimin and Jungkook are planning the next iconic performance or simply moving through life side by side in a moment of mutual care, the impact remains seismic. Because at the heart of it all is something undeniable: presence. Intentional or not, coordinated or coincidental, their shared presence in that airport terminal, and the absence of explanation, has sparked a fire no press release could match. And now, the world waits, not just for answers, but for something to feel again.